A favourite pastime for many people is to go on the internet after a few beers and buy crap they just don't need. And not just stuff that they don't need, stuff no one needs. And I thought, I'm going to join them, because this sounds fun. After all, lots of YouTubers make a living from buying things from China, unboxing them, and being surprised when it's a bit rubbish. And I thought, I want a piece of that. So, I had a couple of beers, loaded up that website we all love to hate, Temu, see also AliExpress, and I found these. I wanted to see what the cheapest 2.1 speaker system out there was, and this was £7, including shipping. I expected the box to be a little bit bigger, because it uses phrases in the advert such as deep bass and immersive gaming experience. We're going to find out if that's true. And by the way, AliExpress or Temu, the choice is yours. They both contain lots of stuff like this, so argue amongst yourself in the comments about which is best, because it helps boost engagement. Objects to compare for size: a can of drink, a tube of Barocca, and this standard black and white tuxedo cap. Okay, so I've established that the box is very, very small. However, maybe they're good. Maybe they defy their size. Maybe this is the best £7 I've ever spent. I think we all know that's not going to be the case. Let's go and have a look anyway. Here we are, the classic overhead view. So, let's have a look at the packaging. Nice pictures. Bit of info. Output 5 watts plus 3 watts times 2. That seems optimistic. Frequency response: 20 Hz to 18 kHz. Also, might be optimistic. And then we've got some other bits and pieces. And then there's a sticker over the rest. Excellent. No expense spared with the packaging. There is none. It weighs nothing! There's no weight to anything in this box. Wow! I liked on the advert how it says active bass hole. Here is our active bass hole. And then, not really any info on the back. So there you have it. This is what £7 buys you. Subwoofer, in quotes, and 2 small satellite speakers. I guess the only thing to really do is see if it sounds any good. Not going to hold my breath for this one. Getting the speakers to sit where I wanted them was incredibly fun. Because they weigh precisely nothing, the wires were pulling them around all over the place. Absolutely infuriating. There's a little bit of non-slip matteness going on under the subwoofer, but the satellite speakers just slide around like they're on ice. Okay, we're about ready to go. I've got the setup as you'd reasonably have it on any desk or other surface you wish to blight with this monstrosity. And yeah, let's connect it up. So we've got a USB-A for power and a 3.5mm audio jack that is bent out of the box. That's a good start. So we're going to power it with this power bank. Remember, it's always the third way you put a USB-A connector in where it'll go in. And we're using a Dell laptop as the audio source with some YouTube compatible non-copyrighted music. The problem is the speakers are so light, every time you move the wire everything just sort of moves. It just sits still. Alright, let's try some... Well, they've just turned off, that's not a good start. Any reason for that? Oh. Not enough power draw from the power bank. It's a good sign. So you're hearing exactly what I hear. Which is terrible! I need to turn that down. That's so bad. You can hear what I can hear, and it's just lots of mid-range, and not even good mid-range, and then just nothing else. Let's try the classic intro music. We all know what this sounds like. It's turned itself off again. I want to say thank you. I sat and subjected myself to as much as I could handle, because I do it for you guys, the viewers. But eventually, it was all just a bit too much. I can't listen to any more of that. No, thank you. To give you some context, I think the speakers in my laptop are actually better than that. In fact, let's compare. Oh, they've just turned themselves off again. How convenient. There is more bass from the laptop speakers. It's not particularly pleasant, but it's better. And that's only a Dell XPS something or other. It's nothing particularly fancy. Okay, so they're built terribly. They're not particularly nice to look at. They sound horrendous. What's inside them? After all, that 5 watt plus 3 watt times 2 output power has got to be coming from somewhere. Let's have a look inside. And that way, I don't have to listen to them, which makes me very happy indeed. As with a lot of things, the screws are really deeply recessed, meaning I needed to bring out the world's longest screwdriver. They also seem to be made of cheese and were really trying to round off. But we got there eventually. Despite being really bad at what they're meant to do, which is make decent quality audio, I was really surprised at the quality that has gone into the internal components. There's this cute little dinky circuit board, complete with removable connectors for everything, meaning I didn't need to wrestle the wires or cut them to get the circuit and speaker free from the cabinet itself. Once I looked a little bit closer though, things went downhill just as quickly as you'd expect. While adorably presented, all isn't as meets the eye with this little amplifier. Let's have a look in a bit more depth. This little fella is the amplifier. It's an NS4165B, which is a Chinese generic mono amplifier. Yep, you heard that right, mono. Not to panic though, there's 2 of them on the circuit board. But hang on, there's 3 speakers. Amazingly, and I had to check this twice, it's running the 2 satellite speakers as one mono unit, so it's not actually really stereo at all. I really wanted to confirm this theory, so I plugged the model of the amplifier that you can see here into pretty much every source and search engine I could think of, and got 0 results, which was helpful. Illustrated with a rather damning sample circuit, you can see here that there's only 1 output for speakers per chip. Following the tracks did indeed confirm that both satellite speakers are bridged together, which is bizarre. The datasheet seems to suggest that this amplifier can only drive speakers down to 2 ohms. The subwoofer is 2.4 ohms as you can see here, although reading a little bit high. So, what would we find inside the satellite speakers? Because if they're bridged together and they're also 2.4 ohms, that's going to be 1.2 ohms, assuming they're in parallel, which is going to be far too low. Let's open one of them up and get the data off the back of the speaker. This went well. My screwdriver was not going to fit in those tiny holes, unfortunately. Time to get a little more creative. There we go, carefully opened. Unfortunately, this was a little bit more destructive than ideal, so I opened the other satellite speaker a little more gently. Ah, there we go, the information we've been looking for. A 6 ohm impedance means that two of them wired together in parallel will be 3 ohms, well within the capabilities of that little amplifier. So it turns out you can buy a 2.1 speaker set for well under £10, but just don't. Thank you for joining me. Sorry this video is a little bit silly, but sometimes we've all got to kick back, have a little giggle, and hit some stuff with a really big hammer. I had a lot of fun making this video. Thank you for making it to the end, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Cheers.